Okay, copyright violations. Yes! Here we are, the very first review that I'm doing, and I'm doing this because if you saw my last video, the thumbnail's kind of weird because it, you know, I try to get a nice smiley one, but of the three options it gave me, they were all goppy. They were all me, so there you go. Have the film, the title, as a thumbnail, because hey, that's what we want. We are talking about Back to the Future, the movie, the first one, because why not start at the beginning? Number 23 in the Empire Top 500, 1985, directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by himself and Bob Gale, obviously produced by Steven Spielberg, released by Universal. That's the boring stuff out of the way. And obviously the cast: Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Tom Wilson, Crispin Glover, and other notable guest cameos as we get to them. Because hey, that's what we're here for. I have notes! I have lots of notes. Don't worry, I've highlighted the best ones. Okay kids, let's do this, because, I don't know, I'm just talking. We're just talking about a film that most of you have probably already seen. Why am I doing this film? That's what I want to talk about first. Two reasons. One, it is my childhood. It is, you know, I'm nearly 40 and it's like I grew up with the movie. The other one's a bit more, they're both personal reasons, but the other one's a bit more me, sort of. As I've mentioned my previous video, the one person, I mean there are a few people in my life that are sort of going, hey, yeah, that sounds like a fun idea, you should totally do that. The one person who's been very positive in consistently encouraging me and saying, giving me feedback on certain things and where I've needed them, is of course my good friend and fellow YouTuber Erin Mills, aka Dubious Khan. I first discovered him pretty much straight away when he started, way back when he started on Blip, which is, gives you an idea how long ago it was. And the very first review he did was Back to the Future, the animated series. And with any new YouTuber, anyone I watch for the first time, I have a couple of rules. Are they talking about a thing I'm interested in? Is it a top 5? And more recently, boxing on videos, for some reason. He was talking about a subject I had an interest in. Excuse me. I enjoyed that video. I watched a couple of others. I enjoyed those. And over time, and eventually we sort of actually became friends in cyberspace. So yes, this one is dedicated to Erin. And my own choice, but yeah, it's for Erin as well. So, cheers babe. Okay, so, lots of notes. Where do I even start? I love this film. It is the film I've seen the most. Everyone's got that one film. For some reason it's usually Star Wars, I think it depends when you're born. But for me, that one film that I have seen countless times is the first Back to the Future. Obviously it's 2 and 3 just as much, but the first one because it's just been the longest. Have seen it at the cinema, but on reissue, not when it first came out. The second and third I saw when it first came out in cinema. Just a bit of background. Cool, so what do we got? Lots of clocks. Unassuming start. It's a very quiet starting movie, which is, you know, sometimes surprises me when films become like bigger than their sort of reputations. I'm not sure that's what I mean by that, but you know, films that become huge, that become these huge phenomena and franchises, sometimes you forget they actually can start quite quietly. High School Musical's like that as well. That's got a very quiet start. Foreshadowing with the Harry Lloyd clock handle thing, and yeah, apparently no relation, but you probably already knew that. Plotty plot, clippings, ads, and news. Yeah, this, you really sort of, when you're watching it and we're watching it, you realise, hang on a second, this is very clever, because they are putting points already in. For example, once you get to the plutonium case when Marty knocks his skateboard into it, that was what was on the news report. Clever. I like it. I've got a note here that says, ew, dog food. It's dog food, it's fine, it's just, big pile of it. Oh yeah, this is kind of cute. This is just, I found it funny. When Marty's playing with the amplifier, and he turns it right up to 11, the woofer woofs. It's cute. I thought that was funny. Rock and roll, blah blah blah. Okay, I will get better at this. Okay, how's this? Is this better? I can't read my own writing. Here's the problem. Oh, here we go. The history's going to change. Foreshadowing. Yes, you already know going in. It's a time travel film, or at least you probably did. So yeah, history's going to change. A bit of foreshadowing, but you know, it's a good line as well. Oh, hi, Huey Lewis. Cameos. Yep, sorry, notes. I'm working on my professionalism, I promise. Let me know if I'm talking too fast as well. Okay. Oh, clock block by plot point. Yes. Save the clock tower! Save the clock tower! And, I would say Flyer Ex Machina. I think people misuse that term. It actually means by the hand of God. It's usually the thing that comes in at the very last minute to save things. So this is probably more a Chekhov's flyer, although it's not a third act issue. Excuse me, I need some tea. But it is again, a cleverly plotted device that is presented to you very early on in the film, that you don't even think about it because it just seems like a thing. You see the lady in the background when they're chatting on the bench, you see the clock behind them, and it's like, oh, okay, that's a thing, and then there she is, and then it comes into play, and that is awesome. That is very good. Well done, the Bobs. Yellow car. Good age makeup. Yes, the age makeup. Now, obviously, with the hindsight of history, we now know what Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, Thomas Wilson, and Chris Lloyd look like at the ages they were supposed to be portraying here. They all look better than their age makeup, which in the first part of the movie I think is deliberate. I mean, well, we didn't know what they were going to look like, but in the first part they were deliberately more haggard. They're supposed to look kind of a bit more beat down because of, you know, life wasn't going brilliantly for them. But it is good age makeup. It is quite seamless. You don't really notice they're wearing it. Chris Lloyd does look a bit... he's still looking good for his age, but he was always older than everyone else, so his age makeup is probably a little bit better than he looks now. But that's just because he was always the older gentleman anyway. Oh, hey, Mark McClure. Yeah, Lorraine, sure. Okay, this is where she's talking about, oh, I never did this with a boy, or that with a boy, or, oh, okay, fine. We'll come back to that. Oh, is this, okay. I cannot read my own bloody... Can you read that? Yeah. I don't know. The reveal. Oh, yeah, the reveal of the DeLorean. Now, stupid story about this. Oh, well, stupid not. I do actually remember the first time we watched this. It was me, mum, dad, and my sister. And I do have distinct memories of my mum going, ooh, the magic bit. And even like how old have I been, about 8, 9? Even then my 8, 9-year-old brain was like, oh, really? However, weirdly, on the commentary for the Stargate movie, when they reveal the gate itself, in that moment, I was listening to the commentary, and they actually said in that, this kind of moment, this kind of reveal, is what's known as the magic moment. So, sorry mum, you were right. Sorry, my younger self rolled her eyes at you. But this being said, the DeLorean is a gull-wing. The doors open, you know, like that, and then docks in a truck like that. So either he somehow crawled in, but there's no sunroof, which means he must have got in the car, driven into it, somehow managed to get the doors to shut. Maybe there was a remote, we never really see that in the truck. Closed them, so they're fully closed, left Einstein sat there. Maybe the reason Einstein was sat there because he's like, why is my master just going into the big silver box with the car? With the, I don't know if Einstein would have called it a car, but in his head, he's a smart dog, he'll be fine. So yeah, the most logical explanation is the doc drove himself in, shut the door behind him, sat watching his clock for however long it was, then dropped the back of the truck down again to reverse out of it, pretty much hoping that Marty was going to be there waiting for him, because that is the only way it makes sense, because as I say, you can't open those doors in a gap like that because it won't work. They're There's no room. There's no room to swing. There's no room to swing a DeLorean in that truck. But so, I don't know, that's probably something that's been discussed before, but hey, this is my review. This is what we're talking about. Right, sorry. Yeah, where are we? Oh yeah. Yeah. 80 miles per hour because DeLoreans can't go that fast. So that's kind of a joke on the filmmaker's part. And also it just sounds good. Oh, out of time. Yes. 1 second. Sorry, I meant to set this up first. Talk about yourself. The infamous spinning license plate. Yeah, I have one. Because who doesn't have one? This actually came with my, I'm currently building a DeLorean. If you follow me on Twitter, which is @Pheonix11, I'll get the paper in a minute. Then you will know that I have been building the bigger than like the frame. Been building a model DeLorean. I've been taking pictures of it, each magazine. Next time I get the next lot of parts, I'll do a short film on that. But yeah, if you want to have a look at that, follow me @Pheonix11, and it's #build the DeLorean. Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm a dork. Well, obviously. But with the Doc's first experiment, so he sits Arnie in the car and makes sure that, hey look, the two stopwatches are dead onto each other, completely synced up. And then the big famous scene where he's stood there with remote control, Marty's stood there with the camera going, the fuck, I'm gonna die. And the car disappears. So from the first flash of the car disappearing, I set an alarm for 1 minute. And then it carried on for another 20 seconds. So it's not bad. There are films that have had like precise timing that has been worse. Like, you know, you've got 5 minutes to save the entire world and it takes about 15 minutes in real time. So it's not bad, but it's not dead on. So I'm a little bit dorky for having timed that. But we'll let them go because it's a great moment. Doc telling a... Oh yeah, so the Doc's telling a nice anecdote about Old Man Peabody. Which again does lead into the fact that, you know, Marty runs over the pine and all this stuff. They have the scenes at the farm. But this wonderful little moment of where Doc's telling Marty the story and then it's like, why am I telling what? And it's just a really cool moment. Chris Lloyd has a lot of those little moments. You don't sort of, at the time you just think, okay, that's fine. But as you grow up and watch more films and sort of learn to appreciate acting itself, you're like, hey, that was a neat little character moment. Well done there, Lloyd. Also, oh yeah, I'll also be able to... The Doc actually says to Marty, he's going to go 25 years into the future, see where humanity's going, and be able to see who wins the next 25 World Series. Back to the Future Part 2 is Doc's fault. Well, yeah, because he took them along in the first place, but he ceded the idea to Marty to say, hey, I could win at gambling, because that's a thing I can do with a time machine. So, excuse me. So, nice one. Nice going, Emmett. Yeah, you screwed up the timelines. Down Lemons. Oh, honestly, that car chase in the Twin Pines parking lot is a good chase scene for being such a small area. It's a really good sequence. I'll give it props for that, and it holds up. I mean, I'm watching it obviously on the Blu-ray, but it really does hold up. It's a good chase sequence, so yeah, kudos on that one. So, oh yeah, if I was super dorky, I would have done a swear count, because it's a PG movie, and PG these days, it can be a lot more boring. I don't know. I don't really sort of monitor how much swearing is in each film, but there's quite a few bastards. There's more than one shit, and, you know, obviously a lot of damns. So yeah, there's a lot of swearing in a PG like family movies. So he crashes into the bomb. Sorry. Marty's pathed through the thing. He's hit A8. It's time to travel through, and crash lands into the barn. Old Man Peabody and his family come and have a look, and oh my god, it's a Martian. And the cows are just there, eating hay, not giving a damn. And I think that's kind of adorable. Cows don't care. They're just doing. They got their food. They're happy. Bye pine. Yeah, he ran over the pine. Hiding the car. Oh yeah, so Marty hides the car behind the Warren's estate billboard. Good plan. That is a very sensible thing to do. Even if it wasn't a time vehicle, it's still a very futuristic car. It's not been invented yet. How did the 5'4" Marty McFly position that car off the road onto the dirt verge, and then behind, perfectly lined up to hide it behind the billboard? Alone. Okay, I try not to get too nitpicky, because there are other people that do that, you know, more than, for better or for worse. I don't mind some nitpicky stuff. Sometimes it can be quite funny, especially if it's stuff I've got some books. This is actually kind of before the internet is what it is now, and they are the Nitpicker's Guide too. I've got like ones for Star Trek, a couple for X-Files, the Red Dwarf one, and if they're well written, they can be quite funny and sort of insightful. But that's for other people to do. I'm not trying to nitpick as a general rule, but it's like, hang on, he's like 5'4" on his own, and I can't imagine that car's very light, and the engine's cut out, so you can't exactly drive it into position. So, good plan to hide the car. I'm just not sure quite how he pulled it off. Oh, and then, so when you get the pan for over the square, once you get back into the main part of Hill Valley, there is a painter. I got two guys with an easel. They're just there, and that was a neat little detail I never noticed before. And maybe I did, but I hadn't really acknowledged it before. So that was kind of cool. And then another neat little detail that I didn't notice until I saw it at the cinema for the first time. When Marty's in Lou's Cafe buying the coffee, he puts all the change on the counter, and his metal pick from the beginning of the film is on the counter as well. So that's, you know, is in amongst the change, and I guess he never sees that again, because afterwards he runs out and sees George. Excuse me. But yeah, so he just had it in his pocket and threw the change down, and that was there. So he's lost his pick. Come on. Yeah, history repeats itself in the past. So the scene where Biff is bullying on George and hassling him to do his work in the future is repeated in the past, where basically, probably not the first time it's happened, where Biff is basically doing the same. So history repeats itself in the past. Oh hi Billy Zane. Goldie Wilson always had a gold tooth. Again, a little detail I never noticed before, and I was just wondering if that's now how he got his nickname. Although that's what he went for as mayor. Is it just a weird coincidence? Marty being noble and saving George's life. Another damn kid jumped in front of my car. How many kids jump in front of Sam Bain's car? And how often does he have to nurse them back? I'm assuming they take responsibility and nurse them back to health, because they're not monsters. You know, they got their own family. They don't want a child's, excuse me, the hurt of a child on their conscience. But does that happen often enough that it's another damn kid is a statement that Sam needs to say? Oh, and the start of the running gag with the Mom, is that you? Oh, hey kid from the Wonder Years, Jason Harvey. Yeah, okay, that's the last of the cameos. Not doing that one anymore. Oh, neat! Another neat little moments for character thing when Stella Baines asks Marty, "Hey, do I know your mother?" And Marty's like, "Yeah, I think you do," while staring at Lorraine. That's a more obvious one, but it's kind of, again, it's one of those little moments you think, that's actually neat. I like that. I'm trying to keep we're only 20 minutes in. This is not good. Come on, Michelle. I don't want to go too fast, but I don't want to long it out too much, because, you know, you've seen this film. This is my opinions. Okay. Oh, yeah, Sam made the joke about, if you have a kid that behaves that way, I'll disown you. Did Sam disown his daughter? Just for Marty being weird? I don't know. Oh, so the sequence when we first re-meet Doc in the past, and he's testing the thought machine on Marty. He says three things which are quite distinct. Well, three things. he asks him if he's come from a great distance. Well, he's a time traveller, so yes. Subscription to Saturday Evening Post. Marty checked the newspaper to get the date when he first found his way back into town. Donation to the Youth Coast Guard Auxiliary. Marty told Stella Baines that he was a Coast Guard. Doc's machine works. He doesn't realise it works, and then they end up talking about the time vehicle. But it actually worked. He got things related to Marty correct. So there's an interesting factoid for you. Yeah, I love this film. This is what you want me to know. You want my opinion on this film? It's awesome. Everyone should watch it if you haven't already. But I still want to talk about why it's awesome. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to talk about why I'm enjoying it so much. Oh yeah, so the footage that we see Doc watching later on when Marty's showing him the 1.21 gigawatts or gigawatts. Apparently it's gigawatts, but the person who told the Bobs about it got it misinterpreted, so yeah. Yeah, but all the footage that we see the Doc watching is supposed to be having filmed by Michael when we see, you know, Marty holding the camera. But I'm wondering, is that all Michael's footage, or was some or all of it actually Eric Stoltz's footage when he was playing that scene? Because, you know, maybe if they had a live camera and live taping the camera both times that they were shooting that scene, then maybe they got a bit of... But that's just my theory. I don't know, maybe we'll never know. But we're not talking about Eric Stoltz, but Eric Stoltz was in it. I don't know enough about him to read some comments, so I'm not gonna make that. But Michael, if anyone wants to complain, Michael was always the first choice. That you can look that up in several places. But yeah, it's just something that occurred to me. Was any of that footage from Eric Stoltz? Oh hey, plot device. Oh, the fly. Yeah, the fly comes back in because it was brilliantly scripted and well written. Marty's actually cool with spending a week in the past, which is, you know, why not? You know, learn a bit of your local town history. You know, try and avoid people that you already... Oh. Okay, never mind then. Okay, sidebar. Doc's a genius. There's been talk recently, I haven't read all the articles or watched all the videos, but I can see enough of the headlines to realise it's kind of a thing. There does seem to be a trope with geniuses being arseholes. BBC Sherlock is actually a really good example. I love that show, I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but I can recognise that, you know, Sherlock's a dick. But Doc is a genius, that's never in question. And yet he's a good person. He might be a bit socially awkward, he's sort of very verbose and uses the longer words when the simple ones will do. But he's a nice person. He's this young man that he's just met, who was able to prove, hey, I know you in the future. He decided to help him out. He was like, okay, let's fix this problem. So he's a good person. And I like that. He's a genius as a good person, and I think that's a good thing on that sidebar. Poster of the dance, but that would be there anyway. But it's still a plot point, so that's kind of cool again. And then Marty being noble again in the cafeteria when Biff's basically being a rapey, grabby git. Yeah, here's a thought that kind of struck me as I was watching it again. The line about if George doesn't ask Lorraine to that dance, Marty's going to regret it for the rest of his life. Marty, as far as he's concerned, has a week to live. There's a thought. If he doesn't get George and Lorraine together, he disappears. He is under a timeline. He's like, we've got to do this by this day, otherwise it's disastrous. And disaster is his death, his erasure from existence. That is heavy. That is really kind of, when you think, actually let yourself think about it, that is really dark. Marty can't bottle. Oh, the whole density has popped me to you. You're my destiny. That was smooth, George. Very smooth. Oh yeah, Marty punching out Biff in the calf. How long has he wanted to do that? He has seen this man harangue his father and possibly his mother his entire life. How long has he wanted to punch him out? That must be so satisfying for him. Square chase, just awesome. Really cool jump. Like, good, getting some good air above that bush. Oh, here comes some new shit. Yeah, that's never not funny. Doc reviewing the tape and like kind of looking genuinely concerned about it. A lot of people say, well, why did Doc put the letter? And we'll get back to that. But the letter at the end, why did he have it? Well, this is one of those seeds. He sees his future self being in distress and telling Marty to run away. So clearly, he knows something's wrong. He doesn't want to know what the thing is, but he knows that there's a thing. So that's good. And more Lorraine being a hypocrite by never chasing a boy by turning up to Marty's house. Cool. I've gone over... Oh yeah, nice model, but that's fine. Daddy-o, nice save, Marty. Really, really good save. Yeah, so the whole... when Marty's telling George how to act in the car, to try and seduce Lorraine, and... Oh no, he's gonna... So Marty's going to be inappropriate with Lorraine. George has got to come and rescue her. And George is like, so you're going to touch her on her, and he's waving a bra around. That's kind of a neat thing. And then Marty sharing the Doc's wisdom with his father it's kind of sweet. I like that. It's a nice touch. Sure, Lorraine, you never sit in parked cars or drink or do anything like that. No, you're a good girl. Yeah, you're fine. Nah, Lorraine's cool. I like Lorraine, but yeah. Concern Marty is concerned because Lorraine is drinking and she's, smoking. And has the child become the parent? I mean, they're the same age here. So, yeah, I mean, it's more of a peer group thing. But Marty has seen what his mum will come if she keeps on drinking. And it's not the prettiest. So, yeah, he's right to be concerned. Damn, Lorraine! How the hell did you kiss your brother? Yeah, okay, so Lorraine glomp kisses Marty. Kind of, you uses that expression where he's all, deer in headlights. Or a fox in the road, if you will. And she says, it's like I'm kissing my brother. How are you kissing your brother? Ew. Moving on. No, Biff, just, no. No, we all know it's wrong, but no. Oh, hey, an open boot trunk. They literally, the guys 3D match. And crap, I forgot the other one. Hey, good fan. But they carry Marty and oh look, they find an open trunk and just chuck him in. And of course it just happens to contain the Starlighters, excuse me. Open boot, sorry. George to the rescue! Woo! Okay, so George, Lorraine's in trouble in the car. George comes along, saves the day, saves the girl. Biff, twisting his arm, looks so painful! That looks so painful. You just try doing that to yourself, and that's uncomfortable. Imagine actual pressure being applied to it. That can do some serious... I mean... Relatively... I mean, obviously you've got to remember and respect the fact that, Tom isn't actually hurting Crispin. We hope. But even so, they are... he's a big guy and he's a little guy, so... that was painful. And then... Oh, ammo! Not because George himself was being hurt, but because Lorraine was being hurt, and that is very cool. Well done, George. And yeah, he becomes her knight in a white tuxedo. And I'm not a big Crispin Glover fan. I've not, I've not seen many of the things he's done subsequent to this. But I have to say, he does look quite handsome in that scene. He doesn't really do it for me, generally, but get credit where it's due. He looks very good in that scene. And yeah, so Marty got chucked into the car. And then he starts gabbling on about, oh my god, you have to play, because if you don't play, they don't kiss, there's no music, they can't dance, they can't kiss, and I'm history. And you have to think that they're thinking this white boy is whack. But then he said, oh, by the way, I can play guitar. So why not? They need a guitarist, and he can play. Until he can't. But again, they do show genuine concern. He's like, well, you're right, kid. Or boy. So yeah, he can play. And so the creepy ginger guy, who you do see at the beginning, he's one of the ones kicking George with the whole kick me sign. Goes and takes, tries to take Lorraine away, and that's not good. But then George pushes him on his ass, so that's great, and then they have their big kiss. And then Marty's, whee, I'm up again. I had a lame joke here, which I'm going to repeat. Marty saying, well, it's an oldie where I come from. Canada? Oh, and they were definitely not ready for that. They just giving such evils. Skip. Oh, yeah, so Biff, George's never stood up to Biff in his life, and the Doc just hands waved it. Oops, that's probably not a good thing, but could be another seed in the why Doc kept the letter. He's like, oh, Marty's, the things happen that could potentially have an effect on the future. And then the big goodbye with the big bro man hug, and it's all very sweet, and Marty's all upset, and Doc's like, well, you're going to see me in a few minutes, it'll be fine, I'm the one who's got to wait, and the way like, yeah, that's fine. But we've already seen Marty write the letter at this point, which he puts back in his pocket. He doesn't, which is one, he's not littering, but two, maybe he recognises there's something important in it because Marty is getting stressed out about it. So another lame joke, I apologise. So Doc's run up to chuck Marty the rope, and then the rest of the scene runs like clockwork. And all the bells, ouch, that has got to hurt. Doc blows Marty a good luck kiss. Well, it looks like a good luck kiss. That's kind of cool. Maybe it says, way, go, but it's... Maybe, don't know, but that's kind of cool. How many people have had drag races at Doc's line, which actually says start here? It's the 50s, they could have done that. I mean, it's in the middle of town, so it's a bit risky, but if you've got a start here line, you're going to race from it, aren't you? Oh god, it's tense. Yeah, I don't care how many times I've seen it, it's still tense! Hanging from the clock, foreshadowing, paid off. Paid off? Paid off. Sorry. I know. I don't know how to do this. We'll find my groove. It's all good. Headbutt steering wheel to start car. Why not? And then... oh, crap. It's broken again. Doc needs to focus. Whee! Because going down the lines is fun. It looks fun, actually. And then Nick Time saves the thing. Again, Mum... I remember when we were watching it the first time, Mum was like, why does he just hold both ends and he be a human conductor? She's probably right, but